race still very undecided.
The bottom lane just doesn't have enough cars now. The rules have been reversed.
They're running out of time and they know it.
How about Noah Mikulski in the 03? He can easily fit in this battle. The bottom surges to the inside. Now pulls even with heading off the turn number 2.
900 horsepower at their feet.
Banks doesn't have a push. Hutton, can he do it off of turn 4? Right, giving him another push. They stack him to the outside. At the line, checkered flag. Big surges to the bottom.
In the undiscovered hills of North Carolina, there's a track that resembles what NASCAR used to be. Thunder Alley down the backstretch, the steep banking, but ultimately history hasn't forgotten the great times. Here live from the virtual Rockingham Speedway, we have Saturday Night Racing League. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, alongside Connor Horn. And Connor, we've talked about all the different action that Saturday night in general puts on, but here tonight, it's going to be a different style of a race. Very resembling to a short track because it's such a tight groove at Rockingham.
It really is, and it's such a tight groove because there's just no room for error. Usually at other tracks, you know how to get out of the corner. It's pretty easy to get out of the corner. It's usually the easy part of getting through at the corner at most tracks. For Rockingham, getting out of the corner is just the beginning of how tough this track is. The exit, the way it jumps up at you, that outside wall can really bite you in a really bad way. Thunder Rally called that for a good reason. You're going to see a lot of cars thundering down that back straightaway. You might see some cars spinning, maybe flipping down that back straightaway. We've seen that in years past. I've seen it, obviously, in real life. We've seen it, and I've seen it in iRacing. So that turn 2 exit is going to be a trouble spot, but this whole track's a trouble spot, very treacherous. That's because it is a mile track, but it's also very fast. But we might see a top lane come in that could help with that beat and banging. As we look at our our chase standings so far, Jeff Wright, Reggie Ortega with race wins. They're first and fourth in the standings. You see everyone else that's decent in points. Alex Bell, Ryan Carwile, good start for their seasons. Joshua Banks, Joseph McWhorter, maybe a little bit further back than they should be, or McWhorter as that says. A little bit of a mishap there. And also Seth Hatchell, 18th in points as well. So number of drivers who are usually good in the points, probably not getting as high up in those standings as they would want to be. But guys like Caleb Weekly, Brian Hennings, Bryce Shoemaker, they've had a great start.
Yeah, a little typo there. My bad on that one. But 1 mile exactly here for the Four Corners that opened up in 1965 and NASCAR's final race in 2004 at Rockingham. But since then, still putting on the action here live on V-Speed and on the iRacing service. Starting up on the pole, though, tonight, Jeff Wright sneaks out a lap time there just at the end of qualifying and takes Joshua Banks off the top row. So let's go down trackside now and get that grid up on your screen. So there it is, a 25.093. He beat Joshua Banks by about 0.04 of a second. Banks going to start outside in the second position. Row number 2, Joseph McWhorter, there it's spelled correctly, in the 73 with Chad Klinger in 4th. 5th spot, Mark Whitley with Alex Bell. And then 7th position, we have the 50 of Casey Lakatos, Reggie Ortega. Rounding out the top 10 from row number 5, Ryan Carwile and Chuck Sweeting.
Just outside that top 10's Ray Massey, a winner in this series before. He's going to try to do it again from 11th position. One of the few Mustangs in the field. He starts 11th. AJ Stravado, also a winner in this series, but not in the new car. Starts 12th right alongside the 23 car. 13th, Austin Belkey, the 89. That's a Camaro. Another Camaro alongside him, Kermit Camaro, from what I see. 14th place,
Yes.
Tyler Lehman. I believe it's Jerry Bergeron, 15th position, number 1, the Harley-Davidson Camaro. 16th, Jonathan Smith will be alongside him. Noah Mikowski, the 03, AutoZone Fanatec V-Speed on the hood of that 03. He starts 17th. Keith Shoemaker in the, who's the driver? Parker Retzlaff drives that number 31 in real life. Shoemaker kind of honoring it in 18th position. Then Bryce Shoemaker, the 43 car, to 3-sheet Camaro, 19th. Mark McFadden rounding out the top half of the field in 20th.
21st spot will be Caleb Weekly. Top 5 in the points for him as of now. Bobby Patrica in 22nd. Then you have 23rd, Brian Hennings with Bailey Turner in the 24 car. First start for Bailey, I believe, this season in SNR. Chris Sawyer will be next to Eddie Trejo. And then we have a couple more drivers that registered, maybe not on the track. There's me, so that was a mistake on my part. Max Cost is not out there. Christopher Melton and Brandon Hitton will round out the field. So we have a chance here, though. We want to talk to a guy here pre-race, and he's got a lot of racing history under his belt. Is actually Jerry Bergeron. Here he is, up here in the booth. Jerry, you got a copy? Jerry Bergeron, it's Connor Horn, Bradley Cooper in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I'm here.
Jerry, we brought you up for a pre-race interview. We talked last week about the history. Can you refresh my memory on all the things that you've been able to accomplish in the real-world racing scenario?
I was a three-time champion at Audron Saint-Eustache in Montreal. I've raced on dirt for 10 years, raced on ice for 3.
Jerry,
Really
racing on ice.
I've been retired since 2005, and I started up iRacing 4 or 5 years ago. I got a few championships under my belt in iRacing, and I'm here to have some fun with this guy at V-Speed.
Hey, I tell you, racing on ice is going to be really similar to what we got going on tonight. Very slippery out there.
Oh, it is. It is slippery. Last week was slippery to the track.
Well, we appreciate your time, Jerry. Good luck out there tonight. Go get them.
Well, I thank you very much, and I hope to see you up on the podium later on.
Right on.
All
So
right.
there's number 1 of Jerry Bergeron. He's going to start in the 15th position. So set to go live for race number 3. Pace car going to pull off. Jeff Wright's going to lead him into turn 1. And for the 3rd time this season, Jeff Wright up front. Joshua Banks, McWhorter, Klinger into turn 1. Saturday night racing ready to go at Rockingham. Now, already the top 3 settles down. They're single filed out very quickly. It's been a tight line here, and running the inside, Connor, it looked like a waterbed coming across the front of the nose if we ride on board here.
Yeah, it's really tough, this track to handle, but we're going to see different lines used from drivers back into field. But Jeff Wright, if you're leading this race, you're going to be close to that yellow line on both ends of the track.
Hop. It's crazy how much hop this car has. And once they get the tires warmed up, that kind of goes away. But these first couple laps, they're just going to be bouncing everywhere.
And you're almost going to see a double apex in 1 and 2. You'll see drivers cut to that yellow line at the very entry to turn 1, but you don't really want to run the bottom all the way, that yellow line, through turns 1 and 2. You need to hit it in 1, then kind of drift to the middle, through the middle of the center of 1 and 2, and then that exit of turn 2, you get right back to that yellow line. You want it like that. No, Alex Bell hit the apron, saves it, but the tires are not going to be happy about that. You don't want to slide them here. It's going to be tough to handle on a long run if we get one. So Bell's already back about 5 positions thanks to that slide.
And you lost it quickly. Good save, though, off of turn 2, or off of turn 4, rather. Let's see if he gets through it again a little bit smoother. Yeah, he's giving a little more berth to that apron this time around. Ray Massey gets by him on the inside to flirting with the top 10 in the 23 car. And I want to make a little correction there, because we did talk about last season he had a win. And so it wasn't his first time when we last talked to him. He's had some wins prior to that moment. I believe the season-ending race last year, or last season, he won that race. So a little correction there on my part. He just went with it, though, in the post-race interview.
He'll go with it. It probably felt like his first win, new car, so can't really fault him for that. So that's second win on his career in this, early season 2 for the Saturday Night Racing League. But brand new car, brand new opportunities. He took opportunity, I believe. He's definitely one of the first drivers to win in 2 separate cars, obviously, but he's gonna have to fight hard to get another win here. He's already trying to get through the field, but he hasn't really made any progress. He started 11th, he runs 11th. He did get by Alex Bell, who's fallen 6 spots from his starting position, but things have single filed out really quickly. It might be tough to make any passes.
Trying to get the cameras set up here. I thought I had that working, but apparently something went wrong with my browser. And now that I checked, nobody really on the cameras tonight. So we're going to re-establish that we do have live feeds. And if you're watching this broadcast back, you're part of Saturday Night Racing League. Put that live camera up. Gives us a little extra immersion into what you go on and how this race progresses, how hard it is to get around this racetrack. Oh man, the turbulence riding on the back of Reggie Ortega, and it looked like they were just hopping, skipping rocks.
It's going to be a workout for sure for all these drivers. They're going to be sweating if we get green flag runs for the majority of this race. And we are already seeing drivers trying all sorts of lines. Joshua Banks, Mark Whitley in behind Joseph McWhorter. They're trying the top line 1 and 2, but just not really looking like it's getting any sort of run as they try it again in turns 3 and 4. It's kind of part of that new update to the tires, the oval refresh we got, I guess, a month or 2 back at this point. It's kind of made this track a little bit more racy, where you can kind of run a little bit of a top line at this track, but it's still tough to bring that in. As you can see, the top side not working too well. So Whitley almost got to the outside of Joshua Banks, but not quite able to get enough of a run on the exit to do so. As this battle for second's pretty heated right now, but you almost could call it a battle for first because Jeff Wright's not getting away from the border quite easily.
Yeah, top 5 stayed right on top of each other. Chad Klinger at the tail end of this pack. He's about 0.7 of a second out of the lead. And they're tightening back up with Reggie Ortega. I mean, the top 10, pretty much within a second of each other, a couple seconds. Ryan Carwile on the 71 is falling back about a second from the rest of this field, but he has a pretty big gap. There's the 15 of Alex Bell. After nursing his tires back to health, maybe he has a chance.
We'll see if he can get back through there. So we got a battle there. Will be side by side. Looks like Banks is going to the inside of Joseph McWhorter at the front of the field. But just gets pinched off the exit. So tough. When you get inside someone at Rockingham, they can just pinch you off the exit turn 2. It kills your momentum big time. And now instead of battling for second, defending off third place for Mark Whitley. Chad Klinger's lurking at a distance too. His 2 teammates trying to get around Banks, but right now they're kind of separated by that 35 car.
So I'm not really digging my camera pack here tonight. Probably make some adjustments here at some point. We don't have a very good angle. I'd like to see a little bit more of the side-by-side coming out of these exits of these corners, because this right here would be an incredible shot. The 3 different lines that they're running. We just got to get a better angle. Side by side for second again. Jeff Wright hit the wall there in the entrance of 1. Doesn't look like it affected him too much, but a good run here off the back stretch now. McWhorter going to peek to the inside for the lead.
Not sure if Wright even hit it, but it didn't really affect him. McWhorter finally got a run off of 2 that he liked, but just not enough momentum to really get alongside Jeff Wright. And usually what the 48 does, he just goes even harder into the corner just to negate that move that someone's going to try on him. So easily keeps that lead. Banks still looking way outside of the 73, but just not really. He's losing a little too much on the early exit to even gain enough on the late exit. So we'll see if that changes throughout this race. He is throttling up hard trying to get that right rear from the 73, just not getting enough. Now he'll swoop low and try to move down on the inside this time.
And peeking inside of the
Dive.
leader. As it is a dive, but it worked. He got by. Now working on the back end of Jeff Wright. So change for second. The lead has stayed the same since lap 1. The 48 car pulled out just enough. He's maintained this gap of about a car length throughout the entirety of 16 laps. 17 coming by. And Jeff Wright, your points leader coming into tonight, leading the race in good fashion.
Doing a great job just keeping everyone at bay, just running just fast enough to keep the lead and keep tires on it, because Joshua Banks, you know how aggressive he is. He uses his tires up early, and usually it comes back to bite him on the long run. We'll see what happens here, but the 48's going to have his hands full trying to keep this lead from the 35, because he's starting to get a run out of turn 4 off of all these drivers. He's going to dive inside, have a look. We'll see how hard Jeff Wright fights this on the top side.
That's a really good fight, actually. The way he diamonded that corner, got a good run off, and he's able to defend the lead for at least another lap. But the 35 car, he's definitely using up his stuff a little bit more than Jeff. Jeff's playing defense, and you almost have to, though. It's the effect of trying to pass a guy, right? You have to use your stuff up a little harder.
Yeah, definitely. Especially at a track like this, you're going to have to really fight hard to get past anyone. There's just not many lanes to pass here, so it just becomes that much more tough when you don't have that much room to work with at a track like this. So that's why you're really going to be using it up. That's why this track eats tires up more than almost any other track as well.
AJ Stravato had worked his way up into 7th, but now starting to fall out a little bit. He got passed by Casey Lakatos, and now Chuck Sweeting in the 9th position caught up to him. A little loose condition across the tri-oval as well. You're going to see a lot of that tonight as these tires start to heat up. 20 laps in. Doing pretty well, though, for having 28 cars.
Yeah, just about the complete lap 20. And looking at Jeff Wright's times, his best lap of 24.8. This time around, we'll see how far off he is. As Max has another run at him, he'll just tuck in line on that top side. So Jeff Wright's fall off, it's already a second to fall off in 20 laps for the race leader. Likely worse for the rest of the drivers as well. So that's a lot that we're going to have to work with here. And with a lower fuel limit, probably won't be able to make it to lap 75. So really wouldn't be too far away from even seeing pit stops. We're still a little bit away, but
yeah,
lap
I'd say
50
lap
would probably
40.
be 40 to 50, because 50 will be that you're evening it out, 50 and
Yeah.
100. So still a ways away, but it's going to happen earlier than most drivers are probably anticipating.
At this point, they've fallen off almost a full second entirely across the field. Tires definitely gone. You probably won't see too many battles. Banks will probably keep pushing the issue, but I think we're going to see this settle down. 33 back on the outside of Lakatos, trying to get that 7th spot back.
Shocked at how effective that top line. Almost everyone's going to the top side now. Even Jeff Wright
Yeah.
ran it in 3 and 4. So it seems like, I don't know if it's going to be great for the tires, but it seems like it's definitely the line for speed. That bottom line just doesn't seem to have anything going for it on the exit of the corner, really turn 4 where everyone seems to be struggling. So they just naturally go up to the top side as a little battle further in the back of the field. Noah Mikowski trying to fend off Bailey Turner. That's for the 17th position. Turner's been driving up through the field, at least trying to on that bottom line, but kind of stalling out right now.
Coming off of turn 4, we're very close to the exit wall, but Mikowski's going to hold on to the 17th spot. Some more moves going on back here deep. 22nd position, Bryce Shoemaker on the outside. That's the 5 of Mark McFadden, losing a couple positions. He falls out. Maybe a mistake there for McFadden because he didn't really have the speed down the front stretch. But very minor changes back and forth. This battle has not subsided, though. Jeff Wright still under fire from Joshua Banks.
Banks is trying hard to get this lead away, and they're not too far away from hitting a little bit of lap traffic, not too much, but as it looks like McFadden just got passed by Brandon Hitton in the back, and Banks is still working the top side, but once again, Jeff Wright driving just hard enough where he's keeping that position over the 35 as his battle for the lead. Battles all over the track, even in turn 3, Mikowski, I think that's the 89 of Belkey, Caleb Weekly back there as well, and Bailey's just trying to get through all of them.
So a volley here for you. What do you think of that paint on the 13?
It's a paint scheme.
It's a paint scheme.
Ow. Whitley just threw a big slider on McWhorter, but I think the 73 kind of gave him the position, obviously being teammates. So Whitley's up to 3rd. McWhorter is the one starting to fade, and Banks, once again, to the inside of Jeff Wright for the lead. This is the most overlap he's had, but it doesn't seem like that bottom has enough grip on the exit to make that work.
That's happened over and over as they catch up to a lap car here on the outside. Maybe going to affect the way the 35 exits 3 and 4. He's going to have to back it up a
48
little
more.
bit.
I Jeff Wright, but Banks has nowhere to go with it. He's trying to force the issue to the right rear. This might work for him if he can keep the overlap, but Jeff Wright throttles up and gets it back.
That's so deceitful here, and now Whitley kind of coming back into the picture. 77 car on the back bumper of Joshua Banks. Car into the wall. I believe that was the lap car that they just got by. Patrica. Three-way battle for the lead right on the back bumper as Banks into 1. Jeff's going to let him have the inside. He doesn't want to allow that outside line.
Yeah, he's not going to give it to him. If he gives up his right rear and gets, in the 35 can stay there on corner exit, then it's going to be probably trouble for Jeff Wright as Patrica hits the wall again. Lets Chad Klinger go. But yeah, these guys are planted to that outside wall. Besides, when Jeff Wright gets clear enough, then he goes back to the bottom. But everyone else is really trying to run that wall for speed. Max just can't find a way around the 48 without hitting him.
So there's on board with Mark Whitley down the backstretch. You can still see the turbulence. The tires have heated up. Another change to the inside for the lead. Banks slides up a little bit.
Here
Opens
comes
up
Whitley.
the door. Whitley sideways. Second place.
Here, he tried charging into the corner, maybe to try to slide up in front of the 48, but Jeff Wright countered it, drove in hard himself. And now Banks might lose second, but he did a great job defending Whitley. I don't know how he got back to the right rear, but he's going to keep second position, and that's what Jeff Wright wants to see, because the more they start battling, the more he can drive away.
Yeah, you saw just in that short stint of one turn, he pulled 4/10 over these guys that were on his back bumper just a moment ago. So Banks gets it power move back on the outside. Going to make another charge at Jeff Wright, running the high line. Just doesn't seem like Jeff has had to drive as hard to defend versus Whitley and Banks, who've had to drive really hard to get to him.
It's hard racing all around this track as a few other drivers got around Bobby Petrika. Case Lakatos is back to 9th, starting 7th. He's actually got 3 drivers behind him. Chuck Sweeting, I believe Ryan Carwell, Ray Massey are all there, so this is a line of 4 battling for one position as Banks stays on the 48, but not quite close enough to the battle. Got a run on Jeff Wright ahead, but still not side by side as Sweeting's starting to try to charge through this field, but has been stuck in 10th since the beginning.
Yeah, and Lakatos made a little mistake there in the entrance of 1 and 2. He actually locked up the front tires, and now 3 wide off of 3 and 4. Let's see it. They held it pretty well. I think they're going to carry it into turn 1 as well. Here's the 23 of Massey into the picture as he's not going to allow Sweeting to back off.
Uh-oh, contact. They made it work somehow. Oh, man.
Yeah, Ray
You don't
Massey
do that
was
here.
Ray Massey was not allowing Sweeting to back out of that. He wanted to.
And Sweeting's going to be big loser, ends up losing 2 positions out of it, but just trying to find someone who can get by this 50. Lakatos looks to be struggling, but that top line looks so dominant for defense right now. It almost seems almost impossible to pass someone on that bottom line as Carwell seems faster, but 50 pinches a 71 down, and that 71 cannot do anything about it. Meanwhile, up at the front, those top 3 are still bumper to bumper, but just nothing happening between those 3.
I'm wanting to go up there and watch it, but these guys keep going, peeking
This
3
is
wide.
better. This is much better right now because it
This is for the top 10.
Is a perfect example of how tough it is to pass right now, and especially on that top line, you could fire it in much harder. Lakatos got sideways how hard he fired it into the corner in that Midnight Energy Supra, and once again keeps the spot from Ryan Carwell. Now Massey will look to the bottom.
So the Virginia Tech 71 not able to clear. Sweeting tried to clear. Now Massey going to try his luck. More of the same though. Just can't. That outside is so strong on the exits that you can't clear them. We saw it with Banks. He was able to kind of charge deep into the corner early in this run. I don't think that's... Oh, 77 of Whitley in the wall.
I think Banks is backing up his corner so much that it's catching Whitley by surprise. I think he just... Also, probably some aero wash as well put Whitley into the wall, but 77 should be fine. Just probably frustrated not getting by the 35. And speaking of getting by people, Carwell finally got by Case Lakatos for that 9th position. Now Ray Massey's going to be the next one in line to try to get that pass done.
One spot could take you 10 laps is what we're seeing here tonight. And it's been a struggle to get by anyone, but Jeff Wright has defended that position. There's Ray Massey now into the, I believe the top 10. Yeah, he'll be in 10th position. Chuck Sweeting going to try to complete the spot now as they come into 1 and 2 on the inside.
Seems
39
so
laps complete.
They're about to complete 39 laps. Just seems so tight on that inside on the exits that it's just so hard to get a run. But that 50 struggling so badly that Sweeting actually does get the better run on corner exit. 50 seems to be hanging on by a thread right now. And we're probably a ways away from pit stops because actually looking at the fuel, what I'm seeing, they can make it on one stop. So it looks like we're not even going to see pit stops for an even longer while. So if you're wearing the tires out now, you're going to be in trouble until we get to that halfway point. Lap 75 is when you would split it in half. You got a ways to go on these tires as the Cottas slides off the 2.
Yeah.
Now Jonathan Smith goes by the 50.
Loses 2 spots on that move. Now I was riding on board earlier. We'll go back on again. Weekly was clutching this thing earlier. There he's doing it again. He's downshifting actually, I think.
Can't even tell. I don't
on downshift, but he is on the clutch. We heard it for a moment there. Ride back into 3 and 4. Maybe he's trying to save enough for one stop. Maybe they can't quite make it.
Look at it. The meter doesn't go to 0. The RPMs don't. So I don't think he's on the clutch.
He did it once there before, and of course, you know, when I put the camera on, these guys change what they do every time. They've checked out though.
Oh yeah, top 3 sure have for sure. 3.3 seconds from leader Jeff Wright to Joe's McWhorter. And McWhorter was right with these guys, but he's really driven the tires off. He's still a second ahead of Chad Klinger, not running too much, really running the same times as 09, but those top 3 are just carrying so much more speed, more time right now compared to anyone else. And they're still on the 48. Jeff Wright hasn't gotten away, although Joshua Banks hasn't really had a challenge for the lead quite yet. Oh, Whitley just had a big slide off of 4. Gosh, he might have hit the wall again. Doesn't look like it, but he definitely tapped it. Oh, he's struggling.
Look at the turbulence just to keep it straight on the backstretch.
Yeah, well, we might see 2 stops just for tires alone, let alone if you can make it to halfway on fuel. You might just need the tires. You've already seen multiple drivers pit. Some just fall off, but and you can see struggle right now. The fall off is about 2.5 seconds right now for some drivers.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time. So much time where we might see drivers consider a 2-stop.
Jonathan Smith to the outside. Noah Mikowski for the 12th position. Gonna get that spot away.
Like Joe's McWhorter's pitting from 4th. This is what we're talking about. We might see some drivers who are not keeping those tires on it come in. He's got some right side damage though, so maybe this is for damage or actually strategy. I don't know. Maybe that's just a number that looks damaged.
A little deceitful there on the angle, but yeah, he's clean on the right side. Surprisingly, a lot of these guys have brushed the wall.
Meanwhile, Jeff Wright's in heavy traffic. He just got by Jerry Bergeron. Now he's getting by Patrika again, but we're starting to see some traffic come into play, and it's not the end of it either. McWhorter's the first of the front runners to pit.
Well, 47 laps into this race so far. It's been a good one. Hope you guys are enjoying it so far here. Saturday Night Racing on V-Speed. We're going to take a quick commercial break and try to get those cameras fixed so we can get you some better angles. But you're watching Saturday Night Racing on V-Speed. Back after this.
It feels like we achieved something bigger than we originally thought we'd ever do. And now look at it, it's grown huge.
My son Reese was born with cancer. What it ended up doing is it crushed his spinal cord. And when he was 3 years old, he got his first wheelchair and he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween. So I thought, I can build one. I can, try and see what I can come up with. And so it started with just, building a simple costume, a Wall-E costume around his wheelchair out of a Dell computer box. It has exploded into something that was the inspiration behind Walking Everyone costumes. I want to reach more kids, and the only way to do that is to have more volunteers. I want to see every child that wants one of these costumes to get one. If you know a teacher at a high school or a Boy Scout troop leader, Girl Scout troop leader, any type of group or organization that would like to attempt to build one of these costumes or to help out a child, contact us. We have lots of resources. We have plenty of people willing to help build these costumes, but we need to get the message out. So share this video, let them know about what we do, why we do it, and get us in contact with kids who might need a costume or any adults or families that would like to help build a costume. We're here for you.
Introducing Tractor USA, the best way to buy and sell premium ag and construction equipment. Tractor USA was designed to be straightforward, simple, and affordable with zero commission and live auctions every week. Tractor USA auctions offer the finest selection of pre-owned tractors, combines, and other ag and construction equipment from across the United States and the world. Simply go to tractorusa.com to get started today.
And here comes Milo. Big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
The wheel gets burned!
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.
The Magic Man wins it Auto Club.
Back here live from Rockingham, down Thunder Alley, and Jeff Wright has brought it down pit road. Quite a few other drivers, Reggie Ortega, AJ Stravato, Alex Bell, Chuck Sweeting. We've had quite a few down pit road. Joseph McWhorter, though, somehow found his way ahead of Jeff Wright, and the drivers that have stayed out pretty much the entirety of this top 10 from Klinger down to Brandon Hinton. So it's kind of a toss-up here. What's your take on this, Connor, so far?
Well, McWhorter pit about 7 laps before the 48, so Jeff Wright will get back to him. But seeing split strategy, I thought we'd see more drivers try the one stop, but it does, because I thought everyone could make it, but because I've been seeing Bailey Turner's fuel at the very least, and it seems like he's actually trying to save. He's one of the few I've heard clutching. In fact, he's still clutching. We're 58 laps in. He's trying to make this one stop work. The question is how far is the fall off too severe for this story, because he is well off his fastest times of the night so far. He started way at the back, so it's worth the risk, but he's definitely one of those drivers who's having to clutch hard to try to make it to the halfway point at least. He's not the only one staying out, though.
Ticker back up on your screen. Jack Klinger takes over the lead, and quite a few guys have stayed out, like you said. To make it the one stop, they've got to make it to about 75 laps. I'd try to push it to 76 just to be on the safe side. Let's go on board here with the 09 and see if he's clutching.
Some right front damage. He's been in the wall. Doesn't sound like he's actually trying to clutch it, but a lot of off-throttle time. Klinger, Carwell, ooh, watch that wall. Klinger, Carwell, Massey, Turner, Belkey, Makata, Shoemaker. For the top 7, all of them have not pit. Joseph McWhorter's 8th, he has pit. So it's really just these top 7 we're looking at right now, because then it's McWhorter, who's about to get passed by Joshua Banks and Mark Whitley, who have fresher tires than him as well. And Jeff Wright's a little behind them.
Car on the wall, that was Bryce Shoemaker, and now he falls back to 10th spot as 3 cars go by him. Jeff Wright kind of falling back. I know that these guys pitted a lot sooner than he did, but do you think he'll have enough to catch back up? I know 7-lap difference on tires. It's going to even out after a while.
It'll be tough, but I think it's going to be possible. I think he'll have the opportunity to do so, especially if these guys battle as hard as they are. McWhorter was really trying not to let Banks by, but now the 35's by, and would not be surprised to see McWhorter not battle Mark Whitley as hard as he battled the 35. So, time being, Banks has control of this race, but I think the 48's fast enough where you can make this work.
Back here to Jeff Wright. There's the gap of about 2 seconds to the 48 car for Mark Whitley, who was battling hard. Also, Joshua Banks. McWhorter finds himself in this battle, but tires probably fallen off a little sooner than these guys. So 77 to the inside. I think McWhorter's going to be kind of in the same boat he was before pit stops.
Most likely. It's going to be a struggle to the end, especially extra stop plus pitting early. It's probably not going to be a great combination. As now we're really just looking at where the 35 and 77 and maybe the 48, where they get up to compared to the drivers trying to one-stop. They're really not far behind Bailey Turner, maybe 3 to 4 seconds behind the 24 who is saving fuel. But then it's another probably 13 to 12 seconds up to 09er Chad Klinger, who is not saving fuel. Ryan Carwell is only a second and a half off him. And Ray Massey a little behind that. So Bailey's basically trying to make this work. The 09, 71, 23, it's almost like they're hoping it works, but not really trying to make it work. Maybe more hoping for a yellow with how big of a gap they have.
Yeah, and that's the impressive thing here. No one really, planned this strategy, because would you have predicted, Connor, that we would go caution-free this far into this race?
Out of Rockingham, it is kind of weird. I usually don't expect green flag running at Rockingham, but sometimes it just happens. It almost didn't happen there. Oh, Banks is dooring people to get through there, and he made it work. Poor Austin Belke got a door from the 35, but Banks is not wasting time.
He has to get out as far as he can ahead of this field.
That was aggressive. Gosh.
Yeah. Sneaking it in there, came out the other side in the top 5. Changes hands. Joshua Banks, Mark Whitley get up in there. Chad Klinger down the backstretch. He's about 8 seconds rather ahead of Josh Banks. Ray Massey, the last of these cars in the top 5 that haven't hit pit road yet. As we go on board with him. What a tire difference here on the outside for the 03. He has hit pit road about 14 laps ago. Man, they are off the throttle all the way through the corner.
I can't imagine their tire life's doing very well right now either. So this is going to be, it's going to be tough to make this work. Bailey Turner, who's actually saving fuel, is about to be back to about around that 9th position. Boston Belke's going to pass him soon enough. So we'll see how this works. Klinger has...
Oh, Belke coming down pit road.
Belke's going to come down, so forgot the 89 hadn't come down yet, but that's probably got 7.5 laps yet left for Klinger to even get to halfway. The same goes for everyone else who hasn't pit. They don't get to that point, they're not making it all one stop without help, for sure.
And so the 89 in a bad spot here. He's still going to be on a two-stop stint, because he's a little bit short, but who's still in the green? We'll find out. 09 at Klinger, he's holding on to a pretty sizable lead. This could be his chance.
Well, this is for the lead.
75, yeah.
It's a battle between these two if this strategy were to work. Chad Klinger and Ryan Carwell will be in the best spot, but Joshua Banks is still only 2 seconds behind already. Noah Mikowski is just trying to get his lap back.
He's going to get it here, I'd say, probably on the outside. The 09 just not able to get to the throttle soon. And off of turn 2. 03 back on the lead lap. So 70 laps about to be completed. If you're the 09, the 71, the 24, what's your strategy here? Pray that we don't have a caution for one, but then you're going to come down pit road and be mid-pack. You have to avoid it.
Well, if you want the caution, you want it now before Banks gets you, but nope, too late. There is the 35 getting second. But yeah, you want this to go fully green for the strategy to just play out and just see if it works or not. At this point, your bet's made. If you pit an extra time now, you're losing so much time because your times are just so off. So you're committed to this at this point, whether or not it does work for track position. But right now, it's not going to work. You still got about 4 full laps to get to before you can make your pit stop as Banks, Whitley, now Jeff Wright start to pull away.
Jeff's done a great job. He's got these guys back within a second and a half, so he's shaved about 0.8 off. 1.2 as they go into 3 and 4, and the low line still working for Jeff Wright for the most part. And now he's going to be on the other side of what he was doing to Banks, the defense. It's going to be one thing to catch him than an entirely different to pass.
He's still got to deal with Mark Whitley at the same time, and Whitley won't let him by easily either. Another one running that high line as the 48 still works that bottom line as a few cars get close to that wall around this year 971. But yeah, it's going to be tough. We've seen that bottom line all day long. Unless that driver in front of you is so far down, it's going to be a struggle. So Jeff Wright might have to find a different line as Chad Klinger pits lap 73. So he didn't quite get the halfway. He's not able to keep going. Carwell is still on track. Bailey Turner still saving fuel.
Well, if he can extend this run, I think 76, 77 laps into this race, he can afford to push it a little harder for his second half. But how much time is he losing?
He's losing a lot of time because he's about half a track behind the 0971, who both had to pit a few laps early than what they want to do. So I think for Ray Massey, he's on the same strategy. He pits lap 74, so they're going to have to do some saving to make up about 2 laps. For the 09's case, 3 laps. You know, Bailey Turner won't have to save as much, but he's very far off time-wise now.
So that pretty much, with the exception of Bailey Turner and Bryce Shoemaker, has cycled the field. Casey Lakatos is still out there as well without a pit stop so far. See if we can locate the 50 car. He's still out there. There's McWhorter going by on the outside. He's 1 lap down. First car a lap down. No Mikowski the last one on the lead lap, but at threat of going a lap down.
Most likely to go a lap down soon enough, and it probably won't be much of a fight because that 03 is slower than the 35 right now. But this might be what Banks and Whitley, what Jeff Wright and Mark Whitley need. If the 03 doesn't get out of the way, Banks is going to held up because he's very good on that high line, but when he has to deviate away from that, it slows him up pretty big time. So you're going to have to get new tires to get one of his 2 laps back. And this is really going to box in the 35, and here comes Whitley, closing in just under 0.3 of a second.
And we saw how aggressive the 35 was a moment ago. Not as aggressive this time because the 23 is a little bit faster, able to pull out there. 03 keeping it up on the outside. I mean, he didn't give that spot up easily, but he also, situational, you don't want to go a lap down.
No, especially when there's other drivers who are going to be at risk of going a lap down. He's trying to at least try to be that guy, the first one a lap down to get that lucky dog, but won't be able to fight too long as he's going to stay on the bottom, fight Whitley a little bit, but 77 will get by. He'll have a fresh shot at Joshua Banks in case they catch more lap traffic. But that 48 of Jeff Wright closes in ever so slightly. Now it's under half a second for the 48. And once again, these 3 have found each other.
Oh, into the wall for Jeff Wright!
Boy, I was about to talk about the traffic ahead. Got to keep your head in the game first. I think he caught the safer barrier. That could have been race over. By the way, Bailey Turner is finally pitting. He's not too far ahead of these leaders. Man, he's gone 79 laps, and he'll finally pit.
Perfect. Now, how much time did he lose, though, staying out?
Well, he was about to get lapped, so
yeah.
We'll see if this works out, because you would think he's definitely good to go one stop without another stop. Well, the others are not. Yeah, that might change this race. Jeff Wright has some right front damage. It's not a lot, but it's definitely, you can definitely see it around the wheel.
I would like to figure out who has that as their pit banner.
I don't know. I'm not even going to bother. Was that 2 spots in front of the 24?
I think it's 2 spots in front of the 24, 1 behind.
I think it might be Bobby. I think it's Bobby Patrica.
Gotcha. He's coming back out on the track for the 24 Turner. He's going to lose maybe a couple laps here. Yeah, he's going to be 2 laps down.
Might be surprised if he's not 3. He's got to be at least close to 3 down. Either way, it's all the cycling done. Now we're just waiting for the 2 stoppers to bring their last stop in, and we'll just see if any of the 1 stoppers can get a break, basically. But meanwhile, this battle for the lead's heated up. Mark Whitley's there, but where's he going to go to make the pass?
Well, he can't go to the outside because Patrica, or it's actually Jerry Bergeron on the outside. The 1 car gets out of the way, though. That's good. Very courteous. The battle was tight, though, as they came down the backstretch. 77 car going to get a run. A little resurge here from Jeff Wright after that mistake on the front stretch. Pass for the lead on lap 84.
We'll see, Whitley's going to have to fight hard to make this work, and Banks is very aggressive. These are 2 drivers that can be aggressive at times, so you got to be careful not to take each other out, but you can see that bottom, just not much going, so Whitley's going to struggle to make this work. And these 3 are checked out. They have 6 seconds to Joseph McWhorter, who's on older tires. And then it's another 7 seconds from McWhorter to Reggie Ortega. This field's spread out to the point. We have 9 drivers on the lead lap. Noah Mikowski's top 10, and he's a lap down. So one of the rare times we've seen this field get very spread out. Rockingham does that. It's a small track, but a fast track. Oh, no. Oh! From the lead. And here goes Whitley for the lead.
Banks did the same thing that Wright did. Now slides it way up the racetrack, and this change for the lead happens on lap 86. So a little gift there for the 77 of Whitley. Let's go back on the replay.
He's going to be kicking himself. It was the exact same thing Jeff Wright did. The exact same thing. That safer barrier kind of retracts into a normal concrete wall, and it catches you right there, and then it puts you into that concrete wall. That is such a mistake to make. Can't have it happen, as Whitley just hit the wall. But he kept it straight. You can kind of make it work in the middle of the corner if you hit the wall, but not on the exit. That is a mistake you can't make from the race lead, because the track position is so important in this race tonight.
Coming by to complete lap 87, and these guys have put on a great show for the top three, but they also have to factor in a few guys that have stayed on this one-stop strategy. When do they come into play? Well, right about the time these guys come down for their second stop, we're going to find out how much time they've made up, if any, because there was about 20. Oh, both of them into the wall here, and Jeff Wright's going to get a gift from the 35.
Monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah,
Whitley hit it. Yeah, Willie hit it pretty hard. Banks just followed him into it, but still, that bottom is not good enough to make that pass work. It's almost to the point it's looking like Bristol. You ever seen races at Bristol where people run the top, just kind of bounce the wall in the middle of the corner? What it's starting to look like. We might have to investigate a little bit, but
Chastain line.
Just about. We're not riding it quite yet, but we're getting pretty close to it as Banks is starting to struggle. Whitley getting away from both of those two, though.
So again, what I was trying to talk about for these guys keep making it exciting is we're going to find out here. There was a 20-lap difference, and the guys on one stop where you had the 43, the 24, I believe the 50 and the 23 a little earlier than Bailey, but they should be able to make it, I think.
Whitley did the same thing. He hit that barrier and hit the wall, but he's still pulling away while doing this. All these top three, that's why they're so far ahead, because they're pushing the limit of this track. But Whitley's still making it work, even though he just hit the wall out of 4. He's probably the biggest lead we've seen any of the leaders, these top 3, get all night. Now it's basically who blinks first, who takes the fresh tire to the end first.
Caution free for 92 laps. If you would have said that before this race began, I would have called you a liar. Jeff Wright was down there? What? I didn't see where he had any room to be down there.
Made it work, though. Banks was on the top, kind of pinched that 48 off the corner. It's what he's been doing, as here comes Bailey Turner to get one of his 2 laps back, at least trying to. He gets a yellow now, he's done. Being 2 down is a death sentence, so you gotta at least get 1 back before these guys pit. But 35's playing good defense right now, but that 77's getting away.
Yeah, he's pulled out to a full second now. So coming around for lap 94. Whitley, I mean, he showed a lot of speed in the races he participated in last season. Just couldn't seal the deal here tonight with what would be, I would say, a fuel mileage race at this point. If we stay green, I'm interested to see if the 2-stop guys will Whitley come out on top, because we gotta come down pit road without any mistakes. You gotta navigate this traffic. Still a long way to go.
We still got battling all around the track. Where anything could happen. Just one other battle on the lead lap. That's for about 5th, actually. Alex Bell, Chuck Sweeting are battling, and right ahead of AJ Stavato, who's not actually catching either of these drivers. Stavato just hasn't been able to get through the field as effectively since the first 30 or so laps.
Bell really loose there.
He's holding off to 75 for dear life.
Remember, Bell, winner of the Clash. Then Reggie Ortega wins the first race at Daytona. Jeff Wright, winner at Homestead. And we still got a lot on the schedule here. We'll bring that up on your screen. Actually, that's the old schedule, so I'll have to refresh that for you guys.
Oh, gosh. Oh, man.
Boy.
Just chopped the 75.
What are they doing?
They're racing hard. Meanwhile,
They are.
Joe's McWhorter lagged out. Now he's 23rd, and he actually had to get a black flag cleared because of that. So now his race is pretty much done. 3 laps down, and he didn't even pit because when you...
Oh, loose here for the
gosh,
77.
Oh, these guys are all over the place. He's
Man,
been
I
doing
don't
that
know.
all race.
I think lap 100, I'm taking this thing down pit road.
If you're Banks, you got to go earlier. You got to get the track position. That's what's important between these top three. Seems like whoever gets the lead keeps it.
You might stay out with them and just pit with them. I don't know. It's 47 laps. He's on the same as Whitley's tires. Jeff Wright a little bit. 3 laps, though, seems to have evened out entirely.
They're about the lap 8th place, Jonathan Smith as well. And looks like we got one pitter. That is Jeff Wright coming for 3rd. That's what I talked about. You want that track position, so I think this is the right call for the 48. He couldn't pass him, so got to try something different.
So here, we'll refresh and do this properly this time around. Bring the schedule up on your screen. SNR are going to be going to Richmond next week. So very similar to kind of where we're at here tonight, but
A lot slower.
a little less banking. Yeah, a little less banking.
I'd say more short tracky than intermediate-y, if that's a word. It's kind of what this track race is like. It's like a short track / intermediate. Richmond's all short track. It's all beating and banging. So that should be a fun one for sure. Then we go to High Banks of Michigan, so that'll be fun in the Xfinity cars. And then for the first off week of the season, that's birthday's on that Sunday. That's the Daytona 500. So what a great day that is. As looks like Joshua Banks is going to pit from 2nd meanwhile. So Mark Whitley kind of on an island now.
Your birthday's on Sunday, huh?
Yeah, for the 500 day, man.
Wow, 500 day. That's awesome.
I know, it's perfect timing too.
So my wife's birthday is on the Saturday before that. So
Oh, that's
we're
why.
gonna be having yeah.
Oh no, that's not the. Yeah.
That's the off week for everything. This is her birthday.
Yeah.
Cancel everything.
Here comes Whitley. Stavato just pit too, but yeah, cancel everything. As now we're going to see this strategy play out.
So now we get to find out where the 24 ends up after all this. He's probably going to end up back on the lead lap, but quite a few of these guys will that stayed out. You get Belkey, Trejo, Turner. I think some of these guys were a little bit short, though. They're going to have to make it 2 stops anyway. Best chance here is for the 24, I'd say, for one.
I think so, but he lost so much time, I'm just not sure if it's possible. Really, best case scenario is these guys getting a yellow while having the track position. That's what Chad Klinger, Brian Carwell are really going to need. Oh, slide. There comes Sweeting, I think, just pit.
Yep.
Came to a slide to do it, but we'll make it work as there's cars all over this track. It's tough to track everyone. Jonathan Smith pits for 5th. Spell's going to stay out and retain the lead for the time being. And as we look at who those top 3 were, just trying to find where they came out around each other on track. It looks like Banks did get track position over Whitley, but Jeff Wright got both of them for track position, so that's going to be interesting to see how that works.
Here comes Alex Bell in the 15. He's going to be the next one down pit road. Chad Klinger stays out and resumes the lead on lap 103. So he's led quite a few laps here tonight. Coming up on 20 led. Yes, Ryan Carwile, though, in the mirror, and this is going to get good.
Yeah, these two are battling for control in case they get a break or in case they make it, but Jeff Wright's only 6 seconds behind. So they really did not gain enough on their one stop compared to what they needed to. In the wall hard. That was a hard hit out of the corner as well, but he's not going to lose the lead out of it. But, you know, the guys who already pit are already under 10 seconds behind, so this is not going to work without a caution.
Yeah, the 20 for Turner, he only ends up
He's
in
already
9th.
behind him.
Yeah. So this one-stop strategy did not work out for the 24 car. He needs a caution to get back on the same stint as these boys. And I think if it happens right now, some of these guys will stay out and chance it. Like Jonathan Smith will stay out.
I don't even know if if he can stay out with the amount of cars we have a lap down. We're not even done with the sequence yet. We only have 11 on the lead lap, so you really can't stay out because you're not going to be able to keep all those positions. You're just going to go back to about 8th or 9th, probably down to 11th anyways. So
yeah, but I mean, you got to get that back on that lead lap, right? That's
we'll
the
take
tough part.
drivers will take wave rounds for sure, but those lead lap cars, there is no way with the small amount of lead lap cars we have, you cannot stay out on a yellow. Max Cost pits. Brandon Hinton pits. Cost to get back on track. He's up to 27th. He'll pass Tyler Lehman in a little bit. Get the 26th. That's about all the 63 will get after entering late. As Massey splits the middle, Mikowski at the top. And Massey's also one stopping up the 6th.
There's Eddie Trejo back out on the track for the first time in a while. The Amazon Freight Ford Mustang. Trying to race his way back into the top 15. He has a chance. He's catching some of these guys. Good to see Trejo back out on the racetrack. Caleb Weekly in 15th. He's far enough ahead. I think he might wrap it up in the top 15 and then wrapping it up to the top 10. I don't know here. Look, these guys sitting 32 laps on this stint. They still got 40 to go. That's a tall order.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to do anything, I would say, as at this point we're really just watching Jeff Wright because he's already up to Chad Klinger, past Ryan Carwell, getting through some traffic, and this 48 car should take this lead very easily with 40.5 laps to go, still with about a 2.2 second gap over the 77 Mark Whitley. And that's another half a second back to Joshua Banks, and that's the gap he's going to have to manage and keep for this final run.
No mistakes here. If you're the 48 of Jeff Wright, you have a pretty solid lead of about 2 seconds. You've got some cushion here.
Look at the traffic out of turn number 2. That's going to be tough for the 77 and 35 to contend with. One's on the wall, Belke. Now Whitley is boxed.
It's going to get a caution. This might be the place. 3 wide.
You don't want to be the caution. Oh, he's going to lose him so much time to Jeff Wright.
Yeah, you see that interval grow over 2 seconds. Now on the back bumper,
Oh,
the
if he's
43
in the middle.
Shoemaker.
This doesn't work. Shoemaker's going to hit the wall. Belke lifted, though, to make it work. And we'll look at it. He was behind 2.2 seconds. He actually didn't lose as much as I thought he did, but gosh, that hurt. Now Banks is right on him.
Yeah, he's still got the 35 to contend with, who navigated that traffic quickly. That's the aggression of the 35 car with traffic tonight has been unreal.
It has been impressive, no doubt. Not done quite yet either, I would say. They're going to have to contend with a lot more traffic to the end here. Jeff's still got AJ Stravato right ahead of him. That's the lead lap car trying to stay on the lead lap. Alex Bell's actually going to pass the 48 to get his lap back, so that puts 12 on the lead lap. And then that's about it. Case Licata's much further behind. Not going to close in on the 48. So 48's going to have these cars in front of him to contend with for the majority of the rest of this race, including Bailey Turner, who's still going to have to be lapped at one point.
Car in the wall. That's the 31. Keith Shoemaker bounces off the exit of turn 4. He's going to pull it down to the bottom of the racetrack here and let these guys go by. Probably bringing it down pit road after that tap at the wall.
I tell you what, once Whitley got in clean air, he's tenths of a second faster than Jeff Wright, so 48 might have pulled the trigger on pitting a little bit too early.
I mean, strategy-wise, I don't know. I see Whitley is fast, but maybe Jeff's saving a little bit here for when he does catch him. We know he's good at that.
So it's definitely possible, but you don't want to get him. Don't want to let him get too close too quickly. You want him to kind of wear those tires out before he gets there and not have tire left to even pass you. So got to be careful with how you play this if you're Jeff Wright. You got to be careful of when you catch traffic potentially ahead.
That's gonna do it.
That's not gonna hurt the 77 too much. It's not gonna help, no. Just slows his progress, but he'll still be faster until he completely pancakes the right side, which he hasn't done quite yet.
But how much as a driver does it start to go to your head when you know that you're faster than that guy, that you're catching him a tenth, another tenth, 2 tenths, and you're just like, well, I came out the corner the last time this way, I'm going to do it again, see if I can get 3, and then that's where you overdrive it, 1 corner.
You kind of can't let it get you. You just have to keep doing it over and over. If it works, it works. It doesn't, it doesn't, especially at a track where the line is you're so line sensitive here. You know, especially with how everyone's right on the top, you almost have no choice but to keep doing it over and over. You know it's fast. Just have to kind of suck it up whether you hit the wall or not and just make it work. He's gotten close to it every single lap.
So down to half a second. Jeff Wright has been reeled in for the most part. Off of turn 2, going to get another surge here from the 77 of Whitley. And down the backstretch, the battle for the lead probably going to start into 1 and 2 next time by.
You would have to think that Jeff Wright, once the 77's in, if he gets a run off a corner, he has to protect that top side. I think it's gonna be. I think Whitley can get it done on that bottom, but it's gonna be much easier if you give him the top. So if you're Jeff Wright, you have to remember to protect that.
Yeah, and he did it well with Banks earlier in this race. Let's see, takes the line away from the 77. Well played there. Into 3 and 4 though. Whitley gonna get a drive off. All over the back bumper into 1. Dives down to the bottom of the racetrack, and they have lap traffic in front of him. Jeff Wright's going to have to run 3 wide here with Mikowski.
It actually worked for the 48. It made Whitley give him room. I'm sure Whitley didn't want to give it to him, but didn't want to wreck there. So that backs Whitley off. Maybe hurts his tires a little bit more as they just took 30 to go.
And that wash now from the dirty air off the 48. Does he flip the switch here and start driving it a little harder? We talked about the tire saving and how this run would progress. Now it doesn't look like he's quite as fast compared to Wright. Whitley, he has a good exit though.
Oh, Caleb Weekly's in the wall ahead of him.
13 car does make a brush with the wall. He's very off pace here out of 3 and 4. They navigate it well. Still a lot of lap traffic.
Got to watch Bailey Turner. Got to get by him, but Bailey's just going to give him the top. And now they're reeling back in Stravato. Look at this run Whitley built. He's got a huge run, nowhere to go with it. I can't believe how high he gets.
Yeah, I mean, he's coming down these straightaways 2 or 3 mile an hour faster than Jeff Wright.
Weekly and Mikowski just pit.
Jeff leaving that inside line. He knows that he can allow that. He can kind of dictate where Whitley goes. He can pinch or get to the throttle a little sooner on that outside. Does not want that 77 car to find a lane up high. Hold him off for about 25 more laps as they come across the line. And with the lap traffic, it's going to get harder and harder. AJ Stravato has maintained the lead lap. It'll be the last car on the lead lap. 10 cars are not a lap down. Incredible race here at Rockingham.
This is exactly what I thought would happen. Once the 48 planted to the top, Whitley's kind of been at bay. He got one run at him, but couldn't take it because of lap traffic. Now, at least the last 3 or 4 laps or so, he has not been able to get that run out of the corner compared to Jeff Wright, but he has been able to get this, to be able to turn out to the bottom out of 2 better, but doesn't get much of a run doing it. He's just going to stick back in line. I wonder when Stravato wants to get out of these guys' way. Might be
I don't
now.
know. I mean, he's trying to stay on the lead lap too, so that's he
let him go.
does. Yeah.
That gives these guys some room. They got Ray Massey, who is on old tires, coming up. Whitley goes high.
In the wall.
And these two battle. Joshua Banks is closing in a little bit on these two. This is not over. It is still a 3-car race. So these guys they're gone. I mean, these 3 have been the class of the field.
Oh, Jeff Wright trims the wall. He takes the line that Whitley's been trying. Look at the drive off that Jeff got from that.
I'm telling you, that's the wall bounce, just like Bristol. We're going to have to outlaw that. But no rule against it. It's working right now. I think Joshua Banks might have to try it a little bit.
Oh, pick here by Massey.
Banks got a big run on those 2. But now we should...
He tried it too. It didn't work as well. He got up there a little too high, a little too long.
He hit it too early in the corner is what happened. Now they got room. There's really no one ahead of them in the near future that is that much slower than them lap traffic-wise. So they're going to have pretty clear track for the majority of this final 21-lap run.
That's good to hear because I think Jeff has to use 1 more car as a pick. He might not get to defend his line the way he is right now.
You gotta wonder if you're Mark Whitley, even Joshua Banks, I think you gotta get physical. We've seen this entire 130 laps so far that bottom compared to the drivers you're running against, you just can't make it work. Sooner or later, you just gotta get physical, use the front bumper. I think Whitley's gonna have to make that decision sooner rather than later, because I think Joshua Banks will use it on him if he doesn't use it already.
Well, then we come out from the Gen 4 car where using that option just wasn't there, to the B car where you can gently move and manipulate a guy's entry into the corner. Almost a touch with the wall.
Gonna get a run.
He is.
It's not enough to pull alongside. Not right now. So we're not down to 8 drivers on the lead lap. He did bump him into the corner there. Didn't really put the 48 off his line.
You don't want to do it too soon because that guy gets back behind you.
Oh, into a wall on entry. Here comes Banks for second. That's the best thing Jeff Wright could see if those two get side by side for second.
15 seconds ahead of Chad Klinger. The 77 washes up the wall. He's looking for anything else. We got Ryan Carlisle. He's slowly catching Chad Klinger for maybe a 4th place finish. But if this race stays green, I think the top 3's decided.
They still got to make sure they can make it on fuel, by the way.
Yeah.
They're not fully guaranteed. And Reggie Ortega's in 6th. Chuck Sweeting farther behind, catching those two. So we'll see if those two can make it. They're on that one stop, and they've made it work in the top 5 so far, but still about 17 to go as Chuck Sweeting is under the lap car Case Lakatos. Top 3 still bumper to bumper, but no pass attempts quite yet.
Sizing him up here for the last 15. If you're Whitley, when do you use that bumper? Is it one of those last couple laps? Because you don't want Jeff Wright to get back to yours.
That's the tough part about it. I mean, you're gonna have to move him at this point, but now you just gotta get back to him. He hasn't been really close enough to him the last few laps, so those tires, that might be exactly what Jeff Wright wanted. Wore him out a little bit. Now that 77's reeling a little bit. 35's reeling him in.
Just enough defense on that outside, manipulate how these guys have to take their exits in these corners. Now you can turn it on. He's running the high line. He didn't do that for the entirety of the run before Whitley caught him, and now he's pretty much devoted his car up there to making sure they can't get to his outside.
We are going to see lap traffic in the next few laps. It's going to be Bryce Shoemaker, Case Lakatos, and they're battling for 13th, so I'm not sure how much they'll get out of the way, but I think we will see those two get caught. It's Alex Bell in 8th, last driver lead lap, just navigated around them. But Whitley looks like he's got nothing left right now. Oh man, Whitley is trying.
he was off the throttle there for a second because he got loose. Air off the back spoiler. Very small spoiler on this B car as well, and that doesn't help when you're in traffic like that.
Yeah, I think he used up all he had, and he might not have anything left. Even lap traffic might not help him get back to Jeff Wright at this point. I think Banks, I don't even know if Banks has anything for him, but you think if you're Joshua Banks, you've seen that leader get away, you might have to get aggressive and just try something. He's going to go dive to the inside. He's going to try to slide up in front of Whitley. Whitley at the wall, he's going to make it work. But here comes a run back. 77's going to get him right back into turn 1. Now, this is exactly what Jeff Wright wants.
Banks needs to make quick work of the 77, sliding up the track a little bit, makes it clear, and now the 35 has a chance. Jeff Wright in some traffic in front of him.
43, Shoemaker lets him by. Lakatos would be shocked if he doesn't do the same, but that was a heck of a pass. I thought Whitley would slide him right back into turn 1, but Banks, the rear end was kicked out so far, he had to drive it into the fend, Mark Whitley. He made it work. Meanwhile, further back, Richard Ortega did get by Chad Klinger, so he's up to 5th. Now he'll chase down Ryan Carlisle for 4th. That might be the most volatile battle if Banks can't get to the 48.
Hey, they lit a fire under the 2 car's ass this season after that win at Daytona. He's been coming up with top 3, top 4 runs every race since.
Yeah, second last week.
Looking good here for possibly a 4th place finish as he's working on Ryan Carlisle off of turn 2. Has some speed in that Harpoon design Chevrolet.
Tell you what, Banks did get closer to the 48 than anyone else did, but Ortega's still closer to the 71. It would be 3 top 5s to start the season, so it'd be a big start for this 2 car if he could get by the 71. Regardless, he is top 5 right now, so great start to the season so far. As meanwhile, 8 lap 8 laps to go, about 9 laps to go. Actually, Banks is on the rear bumper, the 48, but can he do anything with him?
We know he's not shy to use the bumper. We saw that at Martinsville, I believe, last season.
Just definitely not shy. That front bumper still doesn't really have a scratch on it, but it's gonna have to get beat up. Don't beat up the right side on corner exit or entry. Did that right there. They got more traffic coming up. They actually got a big chunk of traffic they're gonna catch here. And this is not what Jeff Wright wants to see, side by side.
That's a lot of cars in front of him.
Yeah, he needs to get a gap now. Because if Banks is on his bumper once they catch, if they're side by side, it's going to be tough. As Lakatos just had a slide out of 4. He kept it straight in 15th, but he's starting to struggle with his tires.
This is the group in front of him. There's the 31 up into the wall here. Jeff Wright's going to catch him at kind of a bad time.
We have to split middle. Watch this. Oh, Banks fired it into the corner.
He knew the assignment.
Still got a number of cars to get through still. Whitley's definitely falling off these two now as Brendan Hitton's going to go bottom.
Do we speak it into existence, Connor?
I don't really want
There's still
to.
one factor that we've counted out here.
I don't really want to. This is great stuff right now. Bergeron going to hold up the 48 maybe a little bit. But he's not quite close enough. Banks isn't. No, Banks got to run now because of that. Now where does he go with it? He's going to look bottom. They're going to be 3 wide. This is what Banks needs. Bergeron out of the way now, though.
Klinger also on the bottom, and Banks sideways.
Oh, and he's going to get picked by Chad Klinger. That might have been his shot right there.
4 to go. He's still got a chance.
Yeah, that was his best shot, I think. It's going to be tough to get back to him at this point. No more lap traffic. I don't think they're going to catch any more. Reggie Ortega, he's not too far up ahead of the battle for the lead, and he's in 4th, still working over Ryan Carwell for that position. They're probably 3-4 seconds ahead of the battle for the lead, and this is a top 5 battle. Chuck Sweeting did catch both of them. Sweeting's faster. Just don't think he can pull off the pass in time as these leaders are about to get 2 to go, and Banks is hanging. Just can he do anything?
These guys will be far enough back here. We'll watch this battle for the lead for the last 2 laps and come back to this top 5 battle.
He gave him a tap.
Letting him know he's there.
He's gonna have to do more than tap him. He's gonna have to really slam him, I think, to make anything work. He's gotta stay close enough to do so, as Whitley's in the wall in the background. Never mind that.
Oh, that's not gonna do it.
And that might be a
just
shot.
sealed the deal. I think that sealed the deal. White flag up in the air here for Jeff Wright. The 35 makes a little mistake on the exit of 4 and allows the 48 car to pull out. He actually blinks out for a moment there. So hopefully the connection can last for these last 0.25 miles coming out of 3 and 4 now for the final time. And Jeff Wright, 2 in a row. He's the winner here tonight. Saturday night racing at Rockingham.
Crazy race. Wright, Banks, Whitley, the top 3. Ryan Carwell still battling Reggie Ortega and Chuck Sweeting for this 4th position. These are the last 4 drivers on the lead lap, actually, because Alex Bell's back there as well. This is the final battle. This is how far out those top 3 were, and Carwell's going to make it 1 stop in 4th. Banks, Bell slammed the wall and crashes out of 4, but Carwell, one of the few that makes the 1 stop work for a top 5. So great job doing that, but that might be one of the greatest races I've ever seen at Rockingham. That was so good.
So a victory celebration for the 48 car. After he held on over Mark Whitley and Joshua Banks, the 48 car is victorious again, and it comes at Rockingham. For this 3rd race of the season, Saturday night racing, we're going to round out your post-race top 3. Get these guys up here in the booth Post-race interviews coming at you right after this. There isn't a one-size-fits-all for almost anything in life, so don't settle for a one-size-fits-all setup. Eliminate the frustration in building with an AI-powered personalized toolkit to boost you forward to victory. Optimize your setup and improve your performance over those cookie-cutter builds used by the rest of the pack. Vantage is iRacing.com's first AI setup builder. Save your time and get back to your personal life. Vantage takes any setup for any track and adjusts it specifically to your needs. Choose from over 100 cars for any paved circuit. A custom-tailored experience that's easy to understand and tested to fit any driver style. Subscriptions as low as $8.50 per month. And for a limited time, new members get a 7-day free trial with unlimited access to all Vantage has to offer. Let Orange Speed Vantage free you of the endless loop of testing and get you back on track to victory lane. Visit orangespeedvantage.ai to get started.
It feels like we achieved something bigger than we originally thought we'd ever do. And now look at it, it's grown huge.
My son Reese was born with cancer. What it ended up doing is it crushed his spinal cord. And when he was 3 years old, he got his first wheelchair and he wanted to be Wall-E for Halloween. So I thought, I can build one. I can, try and see what I can come up with. And so it started with just, building a simple costume, a Wall-E costume around his wheelchair out of a Dell computer box. It has exploded into something that was the inspiration behind Walking Umbrella costumes. I want to reach more kids, and the only way to do that is to have more volunteers. I want to see every child that wants one of these costumes to get one. If you know a teacher at a high school or a Boy Scout troop leader, Girl Scout troop leader, any type of group or organization that would like to attempt to build one of these costumes or to help out a child, contact us. We have lots of resources. We have plenty of people willing to help build these costumes, but we need to get the message out. So share this video, let them know about what we do, why we do it, and get us in contact with kids who might need a costume or any adults or families that would like to help build a costume. We're here for you.
Introducing Tractor USA, the best way to buy and sell premium ag and construction equipment. Tractor USA was designed to be straightforward, simple, and affordable with zero commission and live auctions every week. Tractor USA auctions offer the finest selection of pre-owned tractors, combines, and other ag and construction equipment from across the United States and the world. Simply go to tractorusa.com to get started today.
Back here live at Rockingham, the 150-lap race has concluded for Saturday Night Racing. Jeff Wright, the winner here tonight, with Joshua Banks and Mark Whitley, the top three. Final results up on your screen. We have Ryan Carwile, who made it in one stop with Reggie Ortega, another top five for the two. Chuck Sweeting in sixth, Alex Bell, Chad Klinger, AJ Stravato, and Ray Massey rounding out the top 10.
A first on Saturday night. Only 7 drivers on the lead lap. That's probably a league low because those top 3 torched the field. They were almost the only 3 on the lead lap because the battle for 4th was just ahead of them as we look at just outside the top 10. Bailey Turner, of all that saving, he did get 11, so works out. Jonathan Smith, Belkey, Bryce Shoemaker, Lakatos, Trejo, Noah Mikowski. Then we see a few other drivers. Caleb Weekly hit the wall pretty late, ended up 20th. Christopher Melton, Brian Hennings also just in there. And these are drivers inside the top 20, and they're 2 to 3 laps down. It's just crazy how blistering of a pace those top 3 hit.
Yeah, it really is, and it shows you how when a race goes green at Rockingham, it can get out of hand really quick. 21st spot goes to Jerry Bergeron. I believe that's Brendan Hinton in the 20 car was going to finish 22nd, 23rd, Bobby Patrica. Keith Shoemaker in 24th, 25th, Joseph McWhorter after the connection issue. He had a top 5 night going for him. Unfortunately, he's going to finish 50 laps down. Max Koss did not get the chance to start this race. He'll come home 26th, 27th will be Tyler Lehman, Chris Sawyer, Mark McFadden, and yeah, that guy out there to ruin some. Yeah, that guy's terrible. He was 153 laps down. But we've got
only 150 laps.
Yeah, I don't know how I managed that, but yeah, somehow I did. So let's bring it up on your screen here. I'm joined tonight by Connor Horn, and he is down on pit road. Well, actually, I'll be down on pit road first with your third place finisher, and that is Mark Whitley in the 77. Mark, we talked about how difficult it was going to be for you to get around Jeff Wright, and you had a couple opportunities, lap traffic, things got in the way. This race going green ultimately to stay on the lead lap. Congratulations on that, first off.
Yeah, honestly, I was telling my teammates I was expecting around lap 15 I'd be back there around 20th, because this track is... I've probably run this track 15 times and throughout my whole league career in different leagues, and this is the first top 5 I've ever had. So I was just expecting to go right to the back, but I figured something out just kind of riding there. First 10 or 15 laps, and it just kind of carried throughout the whole race. And really, if you'd have told me when I came into practice that I'd be battling for the win, I'd have told you were full of you know what. But to go from just wanting to finish on just wanting to finish in the top 10 to really thinking I had a shot to win was quite the turnaround. And I know I was talking to Jeff there in the cool down room, and it was just like, I ran him down because he short pitted, and I was sitting there. I told him, I said, if you just waited one more turn to go up to the high side, I'd have been all good. It just seemed like once he got up in front of me, I don't know if I started overdriving and if it was so hard to pass. You really needed the person in front of you to mess up, and he doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He made one earlier, but I was real frustrated, and I thought about maybe giving him the bumper a couple times, but we were running the high side, so it really wouldn't have probably done anything other than him hit the wall and keep going. And so,
well, you come out here tonight. You said that if you would have found yourself, I think prior to that, if you would have told me this race would have went caution free, I would have said the same thing. You're full of it, because this race, 150 laps, and you saw the traffic, all the guys that struggled here tonight. You had people tapping the wall almost, 2 times a lap in some cases. How tough was it just to drive straight down the backstretch?
If you messed up the exit or 2, it was really difficult, because you'd have to have so much wheel in it that it would snap loose on you, and you'd have to you'd have to be all the way out of the gas, and have so much wheel, it'd be like you'd have the speed wobbles. And I will say it seemed like I did it a couple times in practice. I never really did it in the race, but toward the end of the run, it seemed like it almost could be kind of like a dirt track, or if you could go in the corner and kind of slide in there and
hit the
tap
cushion
it with the right rear. Yeah, I just hit the wall with the right rear, and it'd point in the nose, and you could just go. So it was just kind of one of those things where you almost have to drive it like a dirt track a little bit. I didn't even look at the relative until after the race. I didn't realize we had such a big gap on 4th place. I was so focusing on them two the whole race. Really, this is unexpected. Did not expect to run this good, so I'm just gonna take it 3rd place and go to my little happy place, because this feels like a championship win to me, because this track has been nothing but bad news and bad luck for me. So I'm finally happy to have a top 5.
Well, 3rd place here tonight, Mark. You led 16 laps. You started in 5th. You were able to survive the rock. Anybody you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, big shout out Brantley over at Harpoon Designs, putting together this awesome paint scheme. It's I run it for a different league, but it's just too good of a paint scheme to keep it locked to one league. So I had to come over here and run a couple races, showing off his talent. He's one of the best painters on iRacing, so check him out at harpoondesign.com. And or if you just want to check out some of his other amazing work, he's got almost close to 2,000 paints on Trading Paints. So go check him out. And then big shout out to my teammates. I know Joe, he was having some issues with his internet. Seems like he's can't catch a break with that. Seems like he's always got issues, but hopefully he can get that sorted out. And my other teammate, John, he battled really hard, and I think he finished just outside the top 10. And he's all last year he had nothing but bad luck. So it seems like his luck may be starting to turn around. So hopefully we can see him run up front a little bit more now this year.
Mark, we thank you for your time. Congratulations on third place, and go to that happy place, as you called it. I'm not sure what that entails, if there's any kind of extracurriculars to get there, but congrats on third.
I'm just going to sit here and drink a Mountain Dew and just soak it in because I was not expecting this kind of a finish.
We never expect anything, right? It just falls into our lap. Congrats on third, man, and we'll maybe have you back up here in the booth at Richmond.
Sounds good.
Third place finisher here tonight. That's Mark Whitley in the number 77. And we have Connor Horn down on pit road with your second place finisher. That's Joshua Banks in the 35. Take it away.
Yep, I do have Joshua Banks, and he led 15 laps. He was literally top 3 the entire race, but probably going to sting for Joshua that he came up just short. Josh, you got the second. You tried to get around Jeff Wright, but just couldn't do it. What more did you need to get around him?
I just didn't need to hit the wall off of 4, and I would have been on his bumper going into 1, and I would have had a shot at him, not wrecking, but at least moving him enough to get underneath and possibly clear. I mean, that was the only way to get around anybody here, was either just moving them out of the way or being on fresher tires, a lot fresher tires. And I mean, when you get to that top side and roll it, man, it's hard. And it was fun racing, though, man. Mark and Jeff and I really hopefully put on a good show. I mean, it was fun racing back and forth with pit strategy, figuring that out, and then who would pit first to get the lead. Because essentially, if you pitted first, you'd get the lead, but and then hold it for a while as best you could. So it was tough, man. I just needed to stay off of 4, and it would have been a different story, possibly. I mean, I was going to do anything but win, because y'all know, y'all talk about it, Jeff, every week. He wins about everything, so I don't win much. So if I could come out with a win, it's huge. So I was going to do anything I could. So it was just a little bit short.
It seemed like all 3 of you were doing everything you could. You guys almost lapped the entire field. The battle for 4th was almost the full track behind you guys by the time you 3 took the checkered flag. And it seemed like the one run after pit stops, you had the lead over Whitley. You hit that turn 4 safer barrier, kind of shot you down. Whitley got by you. All 3 of you hit that wall at some point, but it cost you the lead. Did you think that was kind of a deciding factor in this race?
Sort of. If you're talking about that second run, then yeah, a little bit.
Yes.
But it did, I think, for sure, because I think if I held it, the lead, I would have been in a better spot versus Mark. But he was definitely doing better than me that run. I couldn't seem to hold the car straighter that run for some weird reason. It just swung on me a little bit, but he definitely had the better tires at that point, even though we were on equal tires. Obviously hitting the 4. Turn 4 wall put me out of that, but we were able to come back, and I was thankful for that, because on the third run, going through lap traffic was frustrating. I'm sounding like Martin Truex over here, just frustrated, yelling at lap cars to get out of the way. So, but that really affected a little bit there, but thankfully we were able to get some tire left and catch back up, and they were racing hard. So I just wish we were back to the beginning of this. Just wish it didn't hit turn 4.
It therefore was definitely a trouble spot, but still kept you in the top 3 regardless. Still a great run for this very early season, very early start to this season. Runner-up finish. Anyone you want to thank for this?
I mean, got a shout out to the guys that ran up front here, Mark and Jeff, doing a great job racing. I mean, we raced clean. Obviously, we raced hard. It was fun. I enjoyed it. I was frustrated, but I was having fun at the same time. So shout out to those guys. Shout out to you 2 up in the booth for doing awesome at the broadcasting every single week. I enjoy watching back all this racing all the time. But damn, y'all, and then, of course, the league doing a great job with this league. We're getting a good amount of drivers in here, and it's real cool to see this league build. And just got to shout out my YouTube channel and Twitch. If you go watch over there, I stream on Twitch, upload to YouTube. You can watch this race on Twitch. It's got a VOD up there. You can watch it and see me get frustrated and yelling at everybody and
yell at
having a good old
cars.
time. Yeah, yell at lap cars. So
And definitely a good old time tonight. Second straight top 10 in the first top 5 of the season for Joshua Banks. Leads 16 laps, runner up to the 48. Congratulations on the good finish, Josh. Thanks for talking to us.
all right, thank you, buddy.
Yes, sir. All right, we're going to get him. Going to see if we can get Jeff Wright. I think Bradley Cooper's down there in victory lane. I think we got Pepsi flying around. We'll throw it to you, Bradley. You got a race winner.
Jeff, right down here in victory lane, race win, another one, 2 in a row now for the 48 car. You had to play a little defense here tonight, though, and you change up your line with about 20 to go. You're able to hold on to it. This guy's behind you, make enough mistakes. You navigate the lap traffic and come out victorious.
Yeah, man, it was crazy for sure. I wasn't sure if I was gonna be able to hold him off tonight. Mark and Joshua are definitely faster than me. Pretty much all race, I think. I don't know where Mark started, but I think he had to drive up
Fifth.
fifth. So he had a little bit of a ways to get up there, but I saw he got up, to second pretty quickly, and Joshua was right on me from the start of the race. He was pretty much on me the whole time. I couldn't get away from anybody. And then I had to switch up that line late to just try to be a roadblock for those guys. I had to short pit them to get in front of them. And luckily, like I said here in the Discord, in the general chat, that nobody sent me, because they very well could have. They were quicker than me tonight. So appreciate them all keeping it clean tonight. But man, we were hanging on for dear life, and super awesome to get win number 2 this year.
I know Connor's got his mic muted right now, but I think he was secretly hoping someone would send you. He'd actually called for it, that would be the only way that any of these guys would probably be able to do it, because the tires evened out. You'd gotten into a situation where you took their line away. And so as that race and this run progresses, it gets harder and harder to get to the inside and make a complete pass.
Yeah, I noticed, the second run, originally I tried to go longer that first pit stop. And so I went a few laps longer on those tires. And my hope was, I would have, better enough tires to where I could, not only pass Mark, and Josh there, but also maybe drive away. But, that wasn't the case. As soon as I kind of got them in my sights, it seemed like tires kind of evened out and I couldn't make a pass on anybody. I think I was trying to get around Josh for, a handful of laps, and I was just watching the leader run away. So, that kind of told me right there that, whoever probably gets to pit road first has a really good shot at winning this race, despite the, not having the tire advantage. So that's what we did. We came in early, the second pit stop there, and was able to leapfrog Josh and Mark. And thankfully it was enough to where, I could be enough of a roadblock to, keep those guys from their fresher tires and obviously the pace that they had tonight. Because those two very, very well could have won this race had they gotten to pit road before me. So I was glad we were able to get to pit road first. And then, thanks to, to the lap traffic tonight was really courteous to all of us leaders, letting us, letting us have our preferred line. That really, really helped too. And then there was a spot where I think Chad Klinger had to make a choice. He had to, either choose he was going to run the bottom or run the top. And thankfully, he ran the bottom and gave me the top. Otherwise, I think had he run the top, I think Josh probably would have passed me. He would have been the race winner. So a little bit of a thank you to Chad there as well. But like I said, Josh or Mark very well could have won this race and probably, should have won this race if the passing wasn't so difficult tonight.
Yeah, and an incredible job to go caution-free. The first caution-free race of the season, I believe, if I'm recalling correctly. We wouldn't have thought it would come at Rockingham, but here we go. We're starting the string of what you guys did a lot last season. Just without cautions, it makes for a race like this where you only have 7 drivers left on the lead lap, and that battle for the top 5 was just in front of you guys. Jeff Wright, I know you got him. Shout him out.
Yeah, and first to mention, about the the green flag racing tonight, no cautions. That's just a shout out to everybody in this league. So we know that we can have really good, clean races, and tonight proved it. Like you mentioned, I didn't think it was going to come at Rockingham either. We only had 1 caution at Homestead. Daytona, it's Daytona, it's crazy, so things are going to happen there. But everybody in here is doing a great job. So, and large field tonight, 30 cars. Super happy to seeing this league get this many drivers in here and everybody having a good time. So, big shout out to them first and foremost, and obviously you, Bradley Cooper, Con Horn up in the booth. Glad to have Connor back this week. Hope everything's going okay for Connor. You guys do a great job. So much fun to go back and watch these. And then obviously, co-league admins, Chad Klinger, Reggie Ortega, Brian Chambliss, obviously our sponsors, Harpoon Design. Brantley does an awesome job with paint schemes. He created my paint scheme too tonight. I heard Mark mention him. He made his paint. Well, Brantley also made my paint scheme. So big thanks to him. He does an awesome job. Such a great painter. Glad to have him on board as a sponsor as well. Tractor USA Walk and Roll Costumes. I think I covered everybody, Bradley. I know I'm ranting a little bit here, but shout out to all those guys that helped make this happen. So
we actually got it on screen here for the brief moment. Joshua Banks was ahead of you, and then that low line that the 09 took, just the the circumstances with lap traffic. But yeah, tonight, Jeff, awesome. I mean, this one means a little bit different than the win at Homestead, I think, because of how close it was all night. Congrats on the win.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
So there's your race winner, Jeff Wright. 2 in a row now here for what I think is probably the best start we've seen to any league this year. The points battle, the caution-free racing, it's going to get better from here. We know how SNR goes.
Yeah, for sure. And these Xfinity cars are flexing their muscle the past 2 weeks with 2 great races to start. Obviously, next gen at the super speedways was a big adjustment. We'll see that one more time this season, but these Xfinity cars are performing right now very well, especially at Rockingham. I don't think I've ever seen a race where the top line was dominant at this track, but that oval refresh kind of came into play, changed things up, and now we saw a great race, and we saw 3 great drivers go at it. I mean, they dominated. There was no one in their class tonight, and we might see the same a week from now in Richmond. A little bit of a different race, smaller track. We're actually going to see Beating and Banging next week for sure on that short track, so should be fun on the 3/4 mile track.
We hope you guys can tune in. It'll be 10 p.m. Eastern Time, live here on V-Speed. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you never miss a single race. And we'll be back live at 9 p.m. on Monday for the Overtake iRacing League Truck Series as they get set to race number 4, I believe, of their inaugural season. So for everybody here at V-Speed that helped put this on, Adam Baker in the background doing all the cool things that he does and also streaming on Thursdays. He's back to the booth for us here at V-Speed. I'd like to thank Connor Horn for being up here in the booth with me. This is Bradley Cooper telling you guys to have a great rest of your weekend. I said it last week and I regret it, but, I guess the 49ers are going to the playoffs a little bit longer. We'll see. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time. There isn't a one-size-fits-all for almost anything in life, so don't settle for a one-size-fits-all setup. Eliminate the frustration in building with an AI-powered personalized toolkit to boost you forward to victory. Optimize your setup and improve your performance over those cookie-cutter builds used by the rest of the pack. Vantage is iRacing.com's first AI setup builder. Save your time and give back to your personal life. Vantage takes any setup for any track and adjusts it specifically to your needs. Choose from over 100 cars for any paved circuit. A custom-tailored experience that's easy to understand and tested to fit any driver style. Subscriptions as low as $8.50 per month. And for a limited time, new members get a 7-day free trial with unlimited access to all Vantage has to offer. Let Orange Speed Vantage free you of the endless loop of testing and get you back on track to victory lane. Visit orangespeedvantage.ai to get started.
And here comes Milo, big run out of 4. He's going to be there.
Tristan Martin's there. Cannot count out to 37.
Oh!
No,
Cabot, where did he come from?
Here
comes Zwack.
A punch from the 33.
It's a drag race.